hello warriors, welcome to the class and the lesson number 6. Ta-da! The lesson 6. Today we are going to see a new topic, and I have a surprise for you. In the end of the presentation, I have a surprise for you. Lesson 6. Okay. Today we are going to see a story about the salivation. Repeat after me. Salivation. Saliva. Saliva. Salivation. Today we are going to see why is important the salivation. Why, for example, when you see a pizza, when you see a cake, delicious, when you see a hamburger, or when you see, for example, I don't know, delicious food, right? Your body produces saliva, more saliva. Why? Because the saliva help us to digest the food. When we eat the food and when we swallow the food, the saliva helps. The saliva helps to digest the food. And I'm going to tell you who invented this theory. It was a scientist of the story that you have to know the name and a little bit about the story, right? The name was Ivan Pavlov. Ivan Pavlov. It's a reflex something that happened naturally. Yeah, the salivation is something naturally. Look, in the 90s, in the 18s, right? Like 200 years ago, I said, like 200 years ago, Ivan Pavlov was a scientist, right? He was a scientist living and working in Russia. He had been studying how the dogs digest food. Pavlov how the dogs eat or digest the food, right? In the 18s, Ivan Pavlov, a scientist, okay? So he noticed something very interesting. Before he feed with food, right? Before he feed the dogs, they will begin to salivate. If you have a dog, for example, you can make the experiment. Take a piece of food and show it to the dog. And show it, but don't give it. Show it. And what is going to be the reaction of the dog? It's going to make like what is the animal doing? Making saliva, right? Wow, it's fantastic, right? Remember that the dogs don't talk, right? So they produce saliva when they see the food, right? You can make an example or one experiment with your dog if you have a dog, right? So, produce saliva. When they saw Pavlov, right? Pavlov take out their food, right? They knew he will feed them soon, right? So he take out the food. When he showed the food, the dogs start making salivation and with the food, right? So he said, I'm going to make something different, right? So the saliva help them digest the food. Okay. Watching this made Pavlov curious, right? He wondered and asked if something other than food could have the same effect. With the food, the dog makes salivation. Why, if I do other things that dog can make salivation too. So he made the experiment. So he decided to do some experiments to test his idea. Just before he fed the dogs, right? Because it's past tense of feed, alimentar, alimentó. He fed the dogs each day. So he rang a bell. When he gave the food to the dog, he made like with the bell, right? So he made sound. After doing this many times, like 1 week or 2 weeks, I don't know, he tried ringing the bell without feeding the dogs. Sure enough, the dogs salivate at just the sound of the bell. Do you understand? So he found that it's not necessary to give them the food just only with the bell, right? So he started ringing the bell, but he doesn't give them food. And what happened with the dogs? The dog salivates because that dog thinks that he was going to give it food, but it's not true. He is only ringing the bell. There is the experiment, right? The name is reaction or stimulus. Repeat after me. Stimulus. We, the animals, we can have stimulus, right? So, in Pavlov's experiments, the bell was the stimulus. The bell. Do you understand? Okay. Let's go to C, right? The dogs, I'm not going to read this, it's the same. The dog's response was a reflex, right? Or reaction. If you tap just below the center of your knee, right, the leg will kick, right? You don't kick on purpose, it's just a reflex. For example, if you hit your knee with one hammer, bing, right, you're going to have a reflex. It's the same, right? Put your finger in a newborn baby hand. Put it, right? You can make this experiment and the baby will grasp it. Shine a light in someone's eye. What happens if if you make this? What happens? What is the reflex if I put a light in my eye, right? It's going to be short. Can you make this experiment in a mirror? Vayan al espejo y se ponen un foco y van a ver su ojo que se va a cambiar. Your eye is going to be having a reflex or reaction. You can make this test, right? And why? Because the humans reflex, right? We have reflex. Son reflejos que tenemos nosotros. And Pavlov discovered this fantastic reflex only with the bell, not with the food, only with the bell. But what he did, he made experiment, right? Ringing the bell and putting the food, ringing the bell and giving the food, ringing the bell and giving the food, and then he stopped the food and only ring the bell, and the dog made the same reaction, salivation. Okay, it's amazing. It's something very important to understand the stimulus of the animals. Here is another example about the salivation, right? Look at the picture, the bell and the dog. And here, he did it like this. This is a tube for collecting saliva, right? Here, he collect the amount of saliva and the amount of saliva recorded here, right? And then recorded in this machine. And this hums is to stop or restrict the movement of the dog, right? Only for the experiment. And then Pavlov discovered, Pavlov discovered this beautiful salivation of the animals. Stimulus or reaction. Oh my God! So it's time to the most important part of the video, the classwork. Pay attention. No classwork. Woo! No classwork today. Okay? The lesson is not going to have classwork. Why? Because I think it's necessary and I'm not going to give you more classwork. It's missing only one lesson, the lesson 7, the next class, and I'm not going to give more classwork, but with one condition. With one condition. I'm going to give you this video. It's going to appear this video about the reaction of the dogs. So you're going to watch too. Okay, with one condition. What is going to be the condition? To make the classworks you are missing. You are missing to present the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, and the 5. Okay? Only 5 homework. No more homework. Okay? Okay, bye. Well, guys, see you in the next class. And prepare because one evaluation is coming soon. I'm going to make one evaluation soon. Thank you so much and bye.